Hello and welcome to my video. This is a proof of concept for using optical character recognition and regex to create very simple loot filters in Diablo 4. So one of the problems right now with the game is you get a lot of items and a lot of the affixes are very useless. You have damage versus injured, healthy, dazed, chilled, slowed, crowd controlled, and so on. Crowd control is good, but you know, you have like crowd control and it's 50 cousins, which I think is unnecessary. So you get a full inventory and then you have to go over each item one by one, look at them and see, you know, read a lot of useless text. And you don't want to do this. What you want is you want to have a loot filter. And at first I thought maybe this would be easy because in Path of Exile you can hit Ctrl C and then Ctrl V and you get the text of the item, but you cannot do this in this game. So instead what I do is I wrote this very short proof of concept script to take a screenshot of a region of the screen. Then I use optical character recognition, I'll just call it OCR from now on, to read the text and then I parse it with the regex, right? And this can tell you very quickly if an item is good or bad. And the regex actually is quite reliable, which I'm happy with. Of course, it's not, you know, it's still OCR, so it's not perfect, but so far it has worked. So I have created two little filters here, one for swords and one for chest armor. Now, of course, these are just tests, so they are very simple. In reality, you'll probably have a little bit more here, and because it is regex, you can put, you know, whatever you want. Maybe you really, I only want sword that is called wreckers, and then, you know, then you will only get those swords. Maybe a little bit silly, but it works. And you can do things like exclude certain things. So you can say, well, I want these two, but I never want this affix. So it's very flexible in this way. And hopefully when we do get a loot filter from Blizzard, it is as in-depth as this. Maybe not fully, maybe not the name, but that you could do something that's actually, you know, you could have, I like when you can customize things. So the way it works is the first sort of major annoyance, and if someone has a solution to this, you know, please tell me, so I can implement it, or maybe someone else can implement it. The item has to be in the top left corner of your inventory, the item you want to check. The reason for this, if you see the item description window, is quite temperamental. It likes to show up in a lot of different spots. So, because I am taking a screenshot, I am assuming the item window is here. So the way it works is we can do this, and is it like this in Windows? Yes, it is. You run the script. So now it is running. You don't have to have this. You have to have the window open, but you don't have to have it in focus. You can go back to the game. You know, you play the game like normal. You get this item. You put it here, and then you hit the specified hotkey. Now I have chosen F2 as my hotkey, but you can put any hotkey you want. You hit F2. And here you see, it prints out, first it prints out the actual OCR that it got, the text. This here is a little bit weird. This is because I'm taking quite a large screenshot, and because some items like this one has a lot of text. So sometimes it gets things that aren't text. But for the things that are, it's actually quite reliable. And then at the end, it says good item. So this sword is a good item. It's a good item because I say I only care that it has to have a vulnerable damage. And this sword has vulnerable damage on it. So this is a good sword. If we do the chest armor instead, this has a damage reduction. And if we go back and we check here, I've specified that damage reduction is good. So I put it here, I hit F2. And you can see this chest armor also is a good item, which is very nice. Now, if I go back to the sword, oh, that's the wrong way, there we go, and I bring back, now I say I want not only vulnerable damage, but also critical strike chance. This sword does not have critical strike chance on it. It does have vulnerable but not critical strike chance. Now, because I updated the filter here, I have to restart the program. But then I do the same as before. This used to be good, but now it says bad item because it does not have both of these affixes. I also implemented a few little quality of life things. So for example, I haven't actually specified what I want for a helm. So if we hit here, it will say unknown item. And if we do this with no item, it says could not read item because, you know, it will also say could not read item if for some reason it could not also read it, even though it is an item. It's sort of a fallback. So this is, you know, it's a proof of concept. Obviously, it's not perfect. Ideally, what I would want to do is that you could hover over each item and hit the key, and it would say, it would tell you. But the problem with this is this window. It moves around. There's probably some way where you can detect the window, but this is not. I mean, the script was written in 20 minutes, and I think you'd probably need a bit more time to write the script that does that. But that would be ideal, right? And because it is regex, of course, you notice that I only said vulnerable damage. And now in reality, you probably want vulnerable damage over a certain percentage threshold. But because it is regex, you can do this very easily, right? You can say, you know, here you can say, well, I want vulnerable damage. And then unfortunately, I don't know. Well, yeah, of course you can do it. You can do it. You have to expand the logic here. But you can do like greater than 5, say for example. And then what you would have to do in the program is you would have to say on the sword, because right now I'm doing very naive. I just check if it is in the text or not. But you will say, okay, well, if it is, if this bit of the text is found, check the first bit of it, which you can see. Is this the chest armor? Yes, it is. If we take the sword, where's the vulnerable damage? Here you go. And you can just check this value, which would be the first thing before the space. So, you know, with regex, this is very, very easy to check. Also, it understands sockets, which is quite nice. You can also do things like you can filter for the item power, if that is something you're interested in. And it also says, you know, this is rare helm. If you want sacred, ancestral, you can do that as well. You can also do, I think it's a little bit more complicated, but you could probably do it also with legendary. No, you could just use the name, probably. I don't know if you'd actually need it for legendaries, because I don't feel like that's a major issue. I think the affixes are the major issue. But yeah, so this is a proof of concept, of course. Very, very simple right now. But this can be expanded, and hopefully somebody does. I will probably use this, actually. I think it is with a little bit more work, probably. But I think this is quite nice to be like, well, you know, is this a good item? Now this is bad item, okay. Is this a good item? This is a good item, very nice. You take the next one. And if you get fast as this, I think this is actually faster, especially if you're looking for very specific combinations where you have to read a lot. I think this is probably faster. Anyhow, this is my proof of concept video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully Blizzard will give us an actual loot filter in the future. Goodbye.